Hello guys and welcome to the channel. Jay Helmsing here. Today we're going to talk about press checks or how to verify if a gun is loaded without press checking. I made a comment on my Glock 45 video, if you tuned into that kind of got several questions, comments, things like that about press checks. So my comment was, with these front slide serrations that everybody is wanting and putting on everything, I just really don't see a whole big need for them. I like them. If they're there, I'm going to take them, but it's not a make or break for me because I don't do a lot of press checking. That got a whole lot of different comments. I kind of try to explain how I do it, but obviously didn't do a good enough job. So my goal here is to kind of share my method for making sure that my weapons are ready to go without doing press checks, and kind of tell you my philosophy on that, explain why I do it, and we'll kind of go from there. If it works for you, if it's something you want to try, feel free to do that. It's just something I've developed over the years, just kind of trying to streamline my process and still get those checks and verifications in. If you don't want to try it, you've got a method that works, you like press checking, rock on. That's what it's all about, is finding something that works for us and developing where we can. And if we've got a good method and a good system, then just kind of appreciating each other and how we go about different things, right? So I'll tell you what, what I was kind of getting at with the front slide serrations. I do not like to press check. This is my duty weapon. It is checked unloaded. But I don't like to do press checks for a couple reasons. The first thing is when I have at least my duty ammunition in here and a full magazine, and I just loaded it up and I plus one'd up. So I've got it fully loaded with one in the chamber, full magazine in there, and I've really got that tension against this slide. What tends to happen is when I take it out of battery, to do that press check, whether I check it back here or I check it up here with these fancy front serrations, or however I want to do that press check, the whole Hollywood over the top, or I really can't do the cool little 1911 dealie up here, but whatever. However I want to do those press checks, to me, I've run into several issues with inducing like an out of battery condition because the slide doesn't want to go back in once it's out there. So you got to remember to tap the slide back in and make sure that it's level and all that kind of stuff. It also, this extractor here is going to start doing its job in ejecting the round that's in there, or at least starting to cant it that way. So if you get a little bit overzealous, or if you're in a rush or something like that, and you go to change that, you may run into an issue where you're starting to kick that round out, and then you might induce like a double feed or some other malfunction that's only going to slow you down and make you kind of redo the whole process again. So I just really don't like that, because of the way you have to manipulate the slide and kind of manipulate it with different rounds in there and the chamber loaded and things like that. I also don't really like to handle loaded weapons in an administrative function if I can keep from it. So I like to minimize my handling of a loaded weapon, because obviously then stakes are a little bit higher. Now obviously we're going to treat all guns like they're loaded, never muzzle anything we don't want to destroy, all that kind of stuff. But that takes on kind of a little bit of a new meaning when you're handling a live weapon. You can't really afford to muzzle something or point this if you have neighbors next door or something if I've got a loaded chamber. And I find that fiddling around with it, manipulating all that kind of stuff with it loaded and with one in there just getting ready to go off, probably for me just not a risk that I really want to take too often. Okay, because with a pistol, we've all done it. With a pistol, you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. I was just here recently actually DQ'd on a 180 at a USPSA match because it is easy to let this muzzle kind of get the best of you, and maybe way out there somewhere it is pointing to something that shouldn't be, right? So that's not something, we're all going to make mistakes. None of us are infallible. That's something that can happen. Also, along with that, how many people have been injured while cleaning their weapons or whatever the case is, while it's loaded, just kind of manipulating a loaded weapon. So I like to minimize that when I can. I don't really like to have, weapons out I don't intend to use if they're loaded and doing administrative things on them, so if I can keep from it. So that also minimizes that exposure, so I don't have to worry about that. So those are kind of the reasons I don't really like press checking. So I kind of developed a method to get around that. So the first thing is we've got some dummy rounds here, and for effect I'm going to try to use this one with a case that's similar to my duty ammo. It's got more of a metallic look, and hopefully it's going to show up on our camera here and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. I've also got some polymer dummy rounds here. These are Glock polymer dummy rounds, so hopefully they don't make my gun explode or anything crazy because they're made by Gaston's guys there. So we'll get these kind of loaded up and ready to go. Let me find the mag. Here we go. So what I hope to do is I'm going to show you how I load this up and kind of get that whole firestorm started and show you what my method is for verifying the weapon is loaded. Because I got a lot of different comments, ranging from if you used a weapon to defend your life, or if you depended on that weapon, then you'd be verifying it by doing press checks, to I'm an idiot, or I don't know what I'm doing, or press checks are awesome, or whatever the case is. And that's fine if you think that or whatever. But at the same time, I do depend on this weapon. So every day I'm loading it, or at least verifying its status before I go on duty and put that in a holster, because it's not just my life, but it could be the lives of others, because I am a full-time law enforcement officer. I'm also in the military, so when I'm in the military role, it kind of takes on the same sort of persona there, right? We'll try to show you my method to loading the weapon and making sure it's loaded. So first, I like to kind of look down in there and make sure that we're looking at, nothing that has like a squib round or anything crazy in there. Nice empty chamber. We don't have an extractor problem or anything like that. So I got a nice empty chamber, got my magazine here with one dummy round in the top that hopefully we can see when I load it. So the first thing I'll do is insert that magazine. Next, this is kind of an integral part of this process. I'm going to actually watch this round being fed up the ramp into the gun. Okay, so I'm watching it intently as I release this. And for a split second, I could see it run up the ramp into the chamber. So I'm pretty sure, mechanically, the only place that round could have gone should have been up in the chamber, right? But, we don't have, it's kind of still taking a leap of faith there. We don't know for sure if it's loaded. So instead of doing, at this point, a press check and saying, oh, yep, it's loaded, what I can do is leave it in battery like that and just simply look where the chamber on the barrel meets the breech face on the slide, and you guys can see that little metallic shine in there. And that's basically my process. Is I load it that way. I listen for the sound of the clunk instead of the clang, if you will, of the slide going, letting me know that, hey, something just got fed up into the chamber there. I watch the bullet travel up the feed ramp, and taking the cartridge with it up the feed ramp, and then I rock it this way, and I verify that I see that little glint there that matches my case on my ammunition, and then I just holster up and I'm ready to go. So to me, a few little redundant steps there just to kind of make sure that it is loaded, listening for the sound, watching it go in the gun, and then just kind of rocking it to the side instead of press checking. That's just what I do. Now, some of you might say, okay, it works on a 320, will it work on other guns? Well, I've tested it, and we might have some time to go over some of these, but definitely works on most guns. It will not work on all, but it works on most guns. So yeah, there might be some you have to press check that way or develop another method, but hey, mine works on some of these. So let's take a look. We'll try, Project 1 gun, Gen 5 Glock. All right, so my carry option, same method. Got it in there, got my live ammunition, watched it go, tap just a little bit up the feed ramp, get fed in there, and so I should be good. Look, my LCI is out. Do I trust that? Maybe not. But if you look in there, you guys can see it right there. There's a gap between the chamber and the slide, and I can see metal in there. I'm good to go. And this is where that kind of flashlight thing came in, where people were like, why would you shine a flashlight, and what kind of crazy idiot are you, and all this kind of stuff. Well, here's the thing. I don't do an administrative function like this in the darkness, rain, sleet, hail, mud, whatever, because, I just like to be in a well-lit environment that's relatively clean and safe when I'm loading my weapons in an administrative function, okay? And by administrative function, I mean something that I can do at my leisure, all right? I do this in the morning before I leave. I do it right here where it's well-lit and I can see that. If I can't see it, if the power goes out or something, I can always just kind of, bam, flash it with a light real quick. Oh, I saw the shine. It's good to go, right? Holster up, ready to rock on, okay? So that's just my method instead of, at darkness doing the press check and fishing a finger down in there and trying to get this other hand on the gun and worried about maybe where the muzzle's pointed and all this kind of crazy stuff, while maybe inducing some kind of malfunctions or at least some kind of grittiness and funkiness going on in the slide there. That's just what I do. That's my method, okay? So we'll unload this, and let's try some other ones here. Let's go with Smith & Wesson M&P. So this is a 2.0 compact Smith & Wesson M&P. All right. Dummy round in there. Again, watched it get fed into it. We can also see it on the side there, just a glint of it. It's a little bit tighter, but there is a space there where you can kind of see it. Hopefully I can get in the right light. There you go. You can kind of see it in there, okay? And it's also got this witness hole on the top. Oh, that's definitely my cartridge in there, okay? same thing there. Let's take a look at some other weapons. Let's try, I'm kind of curious on some of these. Let's try a 229 or 220. It's actually an M11A1. All right, same thing. Oh, that's a long feed ramp. Yep, watch the bullet get bumped up in there. Now this is much tighter, okay, much tighter of a tolerance in there. But even though it's much tighter, you guys can still see, if I can get the light to shine in there without blinding us all, you can still see a little glint of that color, whether it's brass or nickel. You'll be able to see that glint in there. So you can see it right there on that window where the barrel locks up. So we're going to go ahead and unload this bad boy here. Oh, let's go to an older Glock. Let's go to Gen 3 Glock. Let's see if the old school Glocks will do this. Let's pop this bad boy in here, dummy round, going into the gun. Okay. And this gigantic muzzle here. So let's watch it be fed up in there. You guys can see it skip and go up in there. And then look on the side here, and there it is. I can see my cartridge. Okay. On to the next one. Let's go with, CZ Shadow 2. I don't know if it's going to work on this one because the way the barrel fits into the slide is kind of unique. It's just got kind of that little window port there that CZs are kind of known for. All right, so same thing. That one had a dummy round in it, actually, from testing this before. All right, you guys can still see in there. Feed it in there. All right. And if I look closely, now if you see that right there, it works on a Shadow 2 or the CZs. It also works on a P10C, it works on a P07, it works on a P09 for sure. I've tested those. All right, unload this bad boy. Let's try my old standby Beretta 92. This is gonna be the compact. Let's get this bad boy fed up in here. Okay, should be a relatively straight shot there. Nice open slide, can see in there all day long. Clink, watched it go in, okay. In this one, the barrel is fitting actually recessed back into the slide, so I don't have very much space. But if I look closely enough, right near that extractor there, you will see that there is a small glint of that metal in there. And this might be one of those where I really have to use the light, not necessarily the weapon mounted light like it just flicked on, but I might actually have to use a light to kind of shine down in there and verify. So I'll do this off camera because you know, it's much easier for me to do that. And if I rock it this way, I don't know if it's going to show up, probably not. But trust me, if I rock it to you know, down toward me a little bit and shine just a little bit of light, I can see that brass down in there by where the extractor is on a 92 series Beretta, which I thought I really have issues doing that with. So yeah, last one. Actually, we'll try a couple more because I don't think one of these is going to work. I'm pretty sure this PX4 is not going to work. I don't think that's going to be one that we can do this on. I'm pretty sure we'll see some no bueno stuff going on there. All right. Let's try the FNS next. Let me fish out the magazine for this. Here we go. FNS, which is pretty much the 509, you know, pretty much one and the same for the most parts, at least mechanically functioning. We should be able to watch it feed in there. Pretty straight shot, really. And then again, we see the brass in there from the side. Okay, last one. This might be a epic fail, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. PX4. Grab me a mag off my mag wall here. PX4 Langdon compact carry. Okay, magazine inserted. All right, rotary barrel. We're going to get in some madness here. So I can see it being fed into the chamber. Okay, and then if I look right there by the extractor again, I can see that metal in there. So it actually does work with this. So, you know, good news I wasn't expecting. So there you guys have it. That is my method. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys watching this. You know, thanks again for all the comments and feedback. If you like this, like, subscribe, comment. I will respond to you as I'm able to do so. And I appreciate all the feedback and all the help from you guys as well. As always, continue to practice your craft and get better at what it is. Continue to share knowledge, share information, and make us all better. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Jay Helmsing.